not doing it right, because that arm should be working like an auntie in the kitchen, baby. Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiana. Hey girl, hey. If you have not done so already, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. So in today's video, I will be doing my updated soft glam look with a touch of pink. I actually tried to film this video on yesterday, but when I got finished filming and I looked back at the clips to edit, y'all, there was no audio. Like, excuse me, Miss Ma'am. What are you doing? Because I just filmed 2 hours of content and there's no audio? Like, what? Hello? What? So yeah, so we're back here today. I'm going to refilm everything that I filmed on yesterday. And I've already made sure that the microphone is plugged into the camera. Because yeah, you ain't going to beat me up like you did yesterday. Because we ain't doing that again, okay? So if this is something that y'all are interested in, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I brought y'all in a little bit closer, and I learned from yesterday that I need to go ahead and put my hair up, because yesterday I got foundation all in my hair. So we just gonna go ahead and pull this up. Okay, so I've already cleaned my face, washed it, moisturized it, sunscreen. If you aren't putting sunscreen on your face every day, then sis, you need to. So I've done all of that, and now I am going to start with my e.l.f. Hydro Grip Primer. I don't even know why I call it e.l.f. Hydro Grip. Does it say? No, it says Power Grip. I'm so used to the Milk Hydro Grip Primer that, you know, and this is a dupe, and I just keep calling it e.l.f. Hydro Grip. So I start off and I just put the primer just on the top parts of my cheek and my forehead, and I just kind of swipe it down and just press it in just a little bit, not much, because I want to leave it wet and tacky so that my foundation will have something to stick to. I'm just gonna just pat this in just a little. Just like that. And then I'm gonna take my Too Faced Born This Way foundation in the shade Chestnut, and I like to just add like a line or two on my cheeks, and then one line on my forehead. And then going in with my foundation brush, I'll just blend this down like this, and then start patting it on the outer cheek area, the jawline, until everything is just all blended in. And I'm looking over here because my mirror is here and the light on it just keep going out for some reason. I guess because I'm not close enough to it. Let's see. Okay. And so like I was saying, I'll just keep blending it until it's all blended in. And so you never want to like swirl your foundation like this. I know you probably see some people that does this, but for me, this doesn't work because I have some hyperpigmentation on my skin. So I just like to pat it in. That way I can get the full amount of coverage from this foundation. And as far as like my nose, I just like to take the leftover product that's on the brush and just go over the nose, because I really don't like heavy foundation on my nose, or my forehead for that matter. And then my forehead, you see like how it's a little light, but with this foundation, like, it does not matter, because once you start to blend it in, I mean, it's going to give skin regardless. Like, do you see this? Like, it's just giving skin. Is it foundation or skin? Because baby, it's leaning towards skin for me. Like, girl. And this is why I love this foundation. So next I'll be concealing with the Nars Creamy Concealer. These are in the shade Praline and Chestnut. The darkest shade first. And I'm just going to place this right underneath my under eye and just bring it out. And drag it down on the sides of my nose. And then I'll do the same for the other side. the bridge of my nose, and then I'll make a V in the middle of the forehead. I think it looks better with the light off. Yeah, I think it looks better on camera if the mirror light is off. What do y'all think? I hope so. So now I'm going to take that lighter shade in Praline, and I'm going to bring that up just a little bit further than I did with the chestnut shade. And I'm only going to focus this at the inner corner of my eye and then the outer corner. Also, I'm going to put a little bit on the bridge of my nose, the chin area, and my forehead. And then I'm just going to let this sit for a little bit so it can dry down so that I can have a maximum amount of coverage here and on my forehead. Okay, so now that this has set for a little bit, I'm going to start blending out the edges of the concealer first. So I like to blend this out in a circular motion. Also, my sponge is from Sephora, not Sephora, it's from Amazon actually. It does look like the Sephora sponge, but this is from Amazon, and I absolutely love this sponge. It is so soft yet dense, and it really gets the job done. And now I'm going to blend out the edges of the concealer here under my eye first, and then bring this up towards my temple. Then I'll just do the same for the other side and bring this up towards my temple. And this is going to give me that snatched effect. And then blend out the bridge of my nose. And so now I'm going to blend out my under eye. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start at the bottom of this lighter concealer shade first, and then work my way up into the inner corner. And blend the entire inner corner, and then bring it over underneath your eye. And you do this all in patting motions. And you just keep blending until you got it all blended out. And so when you get right here to the outer corner of your eye, you see like how it has that harsh line there? We're going to go back in with the foundation brush to clean that part up. And so just do the same for the other eye. And if I haven't said this already, you want to work with a damp beauty blender or a sponge or whatever you will. You want to make sure it's damp and not soaking wet, because if it's too wet, then it's just going to pick up too much product off of your face, and it's just not going to look good. So just make sure it's damp. I'm going to take my foundation brush and just clean up these edges at my temple, just so it's not as harsh. So for contour, I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Infallible Concealer in the shade 420 and 435. These are like the perfect contour shades for me. So going in with 420, I just like to place this at the highest points of my cheek, on my forehead, and the bridge of my nose to kind of carve that out. And then I'm going to go in with 435 just to deepen this up a little bit, because it can get a little washed out. And so I just add just a little bit of it, because this concealer is so pigmented, and you do not want to go overboard with your contour, because it'll get messy, muddy looking, and it's so hard to clean that up. So you want to just start off with just the tiniest amount first. And if you need more, then you can always build it up and add just a little bit more product. So I'm just going over the edges of that concealer shade that I put under my eye to blend that out. And then I'm going to drag it down just a little bit. So the trick with your contour is you want to leave it in this section here. You don't want to drag it too far down here. I mean, because why you want your face looking like a V? Like a long V. Nobody wants that. So you want to just leave it here. And then when you come to your cheek part, you want to curve it. So you want to just take your foundation brush and just curve. So this is the way that you want to go with that contour. You don't want to come this way, because it's going to make your face long. So you want to bring it up and curve because you want to give the illusion of a slimmer face, not a longer face. And so you just keep blending that in. Make sure that contour is blended in perfectly, because if not, you would definitely be able to pick that up on your pictures or on camera. So I'm just going to do the same to the other side. And take your time with this step. Make sure everything is well blended. Your base is the most important part to a flawless makeup look, so you have to make sure this part is right, because if not, then the whole face is going to be off. And then I like to drag the excess product from the brush down on my jawline, at my chin, and then blend out my forehead. So with your forehead, you're going to have to put some elbow grease in this, because you got to move that concealer around. You want it all over your forehead. And if you have to go in your hairline, get in that hairline, because you don't want anything looking masky. So get in that hairline and make sure everything is blended. Blend it down into your eyebrows. Also, that concealer shade that was placed here in the middle of the forehead, you want to get that contour around that as well. And if your arms aren't tired from blending, then sis, you're not doing it right, because that arm should be working like an auntie in the kitchen, baby. You should be really getting to it, okay? Now I'm going to blend out my nose contour. So I like to take my Real Techniques brush. I think this is in the number 210. So I take that and I just bring it down the bridge of my nose. And I start swiping it to really get that to blend. Because we like a snatch nose over here, honey. So we really going to blend it as much as we can. And if it's not blended well enough, you want to take your sponge. And I don't know. Okay, here you go. You want to take your sponge and just go over the edges of it to make sure it's blended in with your under eye concealer and the concealer on your nose. So you just go over it. Like that, like so. So now it is time to set. So I'm just going to go back under my eye with my sponge just to make sure that I don't have any creases under my eye. And then we're going to set. So like I said, just go back under, look up. So I'm going to take my One Size setting powder. This is in the shade Ultra Pink. I absolutely love this setting powder. It is just so drying. So if you have dry skin, I do not recommend this setting powder, because it's like cake powder. It is thick, baby. So I like to dip my brush in. I like to dip my brush in the powder, and then I knock off the excess of the powder, and then I look up and I start placing that powder. And you do this with a light hand because you don't want to move that concealer. Y'all, this is like one of the best setting powders that I have used in forever. And I absolutely love this. I am a stan for this setting powder. But like I said, if you are an extremely dry person, I do not recommend it, because this powder is drying. It's going to secure any type of sweat, oil, anything. Like, your makeup is going to stay on for 2 days if you want it to with this powder. But I do not recommend keeping your makeup on no 2 days. Like, at the end of the night, sis, take that makeup off. And I actually have clients that ask me, will my makeup last to the next day? And I'm like, yeah, it will, but I don't recommend you sleeping in your makeup, wearing it the entire weekend because you're trying to make it last. No. No. Please don't do it. I do not recommend keeping it on no longer than 1 day. Then I also like to run my brush across my eyebrows to make sure that there isn't any oil or anything, because I don't like shiny brows. And I remember when I first started doing makeup and doing my makeup, like, I could not understand like why the brows were so oily. Like, I just could not stop the brows from being oily. But as the years progressed, I've acquired and learned new tips and tricks to eliminate the excess oil on my face and my client's face. And then I also like to set my jawline. So I'll just take the smallest amount of powder and just go over it. So I'm not sculpting anything right now, just setting it. So for bronzer, I'm going to go in with the Juvia's Place bronzer. This is in the shade Tan. I've actually already hit pan in this because this is my absolute favorite bronzer. So I'm just going to dip my brush in here and just apply it to the apples of my cheek. Everywhere I apply contour, that's where I'm going to apply bronzer. And I just pat this on and swirl as I see fit. And then if I want to deepen it up a little bit, I'll go into the bottom shade and just add a little bit. And this is the same with that contour. You want to make sure you're curving it. And then I'll just do the same with my forehead. I like to OD with this on my forehead because I have a 5 head and I want to make it a little bit smaller. So I just give it the illusion that it's smaller by adding tons and tons of bronzer. You want to make sure you get into that hairline because we don't want any masks. And then I also drag it on my jawline, my chin, and then I just go over that nose contour with just a little bit of bronzer that's left over on the brush. I don't like a harsh nose contour, so this is perfect. And she's looking good, baby. So I'm going to do my brows off camera because I'm still trying to perfect those on myself. So it takes me a little while to really get them right. So I'll be back with the brows on. Okay, so now that I have my brows on and I've prepped my eyes, I'm going to go in with my Givenchy Prism powder. And this is in the shade number 2. And so what I like to do with this powder is I like to take my sponge and dip it in the powder and just go on the side of my nose to carve out my nose contour. And then I take it underneath my under eye to brighten it up. And y'all, this powder is very expensive, but baby, she's a goodie and it's a staple in my makeup routine. And she just elevates the entire makeup look. But you can achieve this with any translucent powder. I just love this powder. And then so I'll just put some on the bridge of the nose and the center of my forehead, but I'll blend it out instead of baking it like I'm going to bake my under eye. And then I'll put it on my chin. And then the excess that's on the sponge, I kind of carve out my cheeks just a little bit, not much, because I really don't like that look. And I just blend it out. So while that is baking, I'm going to go in with my Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. I'm going to go in with that brown. I'm just going to apply a little on my outer V. And I like to do both eyes at the same time so I can kind of get some symmetry. And I just put it on messily because I really don't like super defined eyes. I like it to be kind of messy. And if you are a beginner, I do not recommend going in with that dark brown first. I recommend going in with like a transition shade first because it can get muddy pretty quickly. And so I'm using like a fluffy blending brush to just blend all of this together. And I like to bring it down to the bridge of my nose in that nose contour to give it some depth because you don't want any empty spaces. You want everything to be cohesive. Yeah, she's looking good. So now I'm going to go in on that top row, the third one, and kind of make like a fake cut crease. But I'm going to blend all of this out, so it really won't be like a cut crease. And that is just so pretty. These shadows, they just blend like butter. And I'll just continue to do this on the other side as well. Like, do y'all see how pretty this is? Like, oh my goodness. She is just so pretty. So for the inner corner, I'm going to pop in that first shade. It's a white shade just to give it a little pop. So I'm just going to pop just a little bit of that white right here in the inner corner. Like, do y'all see that? Do y'all see what that have done to the eyes? Like, yeah. And so you just kind of want to make sure it's blended though. Like, that just really took the eyes to another level. That looks so good. So I'm gonna go in with some eyeliner. I'm gonna use the Urban Decay Perversion eyeliner. It is almost gone, so I'm gonna have to make a run to Ulta to get a new one. So I just kind of like to line my lash line, and I have hooded eyes, so I can't go too crazy with the eyeliner because it'll disappear. My eyelid will cover it. I like to take a smudging brush and just smudge it out. Pop these lashes on. I have honestly forgotten the name of them, but I will find the packaging and I'll have it listed down below. But these are like my favorite eyelashes. They just look so good. Okay, so now that the lashes are on, I'm just going to take a fluffy blending brush, face blending brush, and just dust off this baking powder. And then the excess that's on the brush, I'm just going to tap it all over my face. Actually, I shouldn't have done that because I like to use the setting powder as a guide for my blush. So I'm just going to add just a little bit more setting powder to my face and then pop my blush on. So I'm just going to add some here and here. So I just like to add it to like the highest points of my cheeks. And then I'm going to go in with the Patrick Ta blush. This is in the shade That Girl. And she is definitely giving that girl. It is coming off like super duper light on camera, but it's not this light. It's like showing up really, really pale on camera, but I promise you it's not that pale. So I'm just going to dip my brush into that blush and just add it where I added the setting powder. And it is so pretty. It is definitely giving that girl. Like, wow. I love a soft, pretty pink blush. Like, I'm just a pink girly. And so now I'm going to take my powder brush and just blend away that setting powder. Definitely giving Pink Barbie. That's what she's giving, okay? So now we're going to go into lips. I'm going to take my MAC Chestnut Lip Pencil. And I'm just going to overline my lips. Go in with this Sephora Soft Pink Matte Liquid Lipstick. And you only need a little. And I like to press it in. I don't know. I think it's a little too light. I don't know. I'm just going to go on top of this with my lip liner. But it looks good though. It looks really good. And then I'm going to take the MAC Oyster Girl lip gloss and just add this to the center. I think she's giving. Like, she is really giving. Do y'all like the lips? Is it too pink? Is it giving too pink? I don't know. So I'm going to take this same Urban Decay eyeliner and just outline my eyes. Just here in the waterline. Ooh, it tickled. Hope my eyes don't start watering. Again with my favorite mascara. This is by Benefit. And I'm just going to pop this on my bottom lashes. Normally my eyes don't water, but now since I wanted to be extra and put that eyeliner on my waterline, now my eyes want to water. Woo! I need to invest in like one of those little fans. Girl, what are you doing? Whew. Okay. I'm going to finish my face off with the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. This setting spray is just so good. And then I'm going to take my face brush and just pack all of that in. And then I'm going to hit my face with the One Size setting spray. This is definitely a need, a staple. Because when I tell you that face is going to stay on all day, it's going to stay on all day. This is the completed look, and I think it turned out so freaking pretty. Like, she's just so pretty and pink, so playful, flirty, just that girl, period. Like, play with your mama, not me. Because, baby, yeah, I ate that up. I ate it all the way up, and y'all know I did. So if you love the way this makeup turned out, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Mwah.